Joe Burrow last evening after the game was at a rare loss of words when meeting with the media. What a day it was for LSU, for Joe Burrow, for LSU fans, for the state of Louisiana, for Ed Orgeron. We're going to talk about all of it. Phone lines at 499-1045 or toll-free 844-568-MATT. You can tweet us at Matt Moscona, at 1045 ESPN. If you cannot get in on the phones, tweet me, email me, jump in the huddle. Lots of ways you can get involved in the show, so we appreciate you for being there. Just be patient. We'll get to all of you today. Let's start in Alexandria. Chris is up first. Hey, Chris, good afternoon.
Man, good afternoon, man. I'm like you. I don't know what to say, but, man, thank God for Coach O, that offense. Man, that defense was great last night.
Yeah.
Third down, man, they was real good. What a way in his career. To hit Trevor Lawrence and force a fumble and to be recovered by Derek Stingley, the future LSU. Man, I don't know what to do, man. I'm so excited. But Tigers, man. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Chris, I appreciate it, man. We're having a little trouble with your phone. I know he mentioned the fumble there by Trevor Lawrence at the end of the game, which was he mentioned the fumble there at the end of the game by Trevor Lawrence, which was recovered by Stingley, which was a fantastic way to punctuate it. Then, of course, Clyde, and admittedly at that point in the game, so there's field access for press, so you kind of start making your way down the elevator to the field, and whenever the Lawrence fumble recovery happened is kind of when I was moving down, and a lot of people were. So it was kind of on the field there as Clyde was running out the clock and converting on that fourth down. So LSU had a mighty struggle early in the game because of field position. Obviously, I thought Clemson's punter was fantastic early in that ball game, pinning LSU inside its 10 twice, right in the end zone where the Clemson fans were. So where LSU typically will have their scripted plays to start the game, because of the situation being backed up there inside your 5, they probably had to abandon some of that. But once they had a little room to breathe, and once Joe Burrow mentioned it after the game, once he realized they were playing man on Jamar Chase without help, he was going there. That's when LSU scored their first touchdown in 4 plays. Floodgates opened. 600 yards of offense, 42 points, and a championship to boot. Kevin is in Baton Rouge. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, man.
I guess just want to start off by saying that anybody who knows me knows that I didn't want Coach O. And I think a lot of people didn't want Coach O at first, but 15-0 is 15-0. National champions is national champions. And you're right, you can mention this team is one of the greatest of all time. And I guess I'm just still in shock, but, I mean, Coach O proved me wrong. So,
Kevin,
I don't know.
Coach O proved a lot of people wrong, me included.
Yeah.
And you know what, though, Kevin? It's at the point now where it's not even worth doing that narrative anymore. You know what I mean? Because there's for a while now, actually. It was before yesterday. There was, in my opinion, this conversation ended last year when they beat Georgia. Having beaten Auburn and then beaten Georgia soundly the way they did, it was clear that LSU, under Ed Orgeron, was in great shape. And I was wrong, and you were wrong, and a lot of people were wrong. That notwithstanding, this season has just been something that even the most ardent supporters could have never imagined because of the manner in which it transpired. Not just LSU winning a title. I mean, literally, what I started the show with, Kevin, the greatest team ever? I mean, you're the only team ever to beat the preseason top 4. You beat 7 top 10 teams, 5 of the final top 8, scored the most points in the history of college football in a season. Joe Burrow set every record there is to be set. I mean, it would have been impossible for anybody to foresee this. What a hell of a ride it was, though.
Well, there was one other thing, too.
Yeah.
I noticed last week you said something about how Clemson's defense was kind of like Florida's. And we put 42 up on Florida.
Yeah.
How much did we put up on Clemson?
Yeah. How about that?
There it is.
It
42.
was, and I can't take credit for that. Kevin, thank you very much. I can't take credit for that. It was Mike Detillier. I was citing Mike because Mike mentioned that when I asked him for a parallel. 2 weeks ago, I asked Mike for a parallel with Clemson's defense. He said they remind me a lot of Florida. Some really good speed athletically, some guys in the secondary that are going to play in the NFL. Not quite the dominant talent, obviously, that Clemson had in its defensive interior a year ago. But I thought that was apropos from Mike. So, yeah, that was, and that's an interesting parallel too. Mike did compare Clemson's defense to Florida's, and LSU put up 42 on both of them. So, good point there, Kevin. I appreciate you. All right, we roll along. Remember, our Tuesday show is brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Here's Clay in Baker. Hi, Clay.
Hey, Matt, what's going on?
Just kind of hanging out. Another very normal day. Nothing abnormal at all going on in the world.
Yeah. Can you believe the rain we've been having? It's unbelievable.
How about that fog?
Yeah,
bonkers.
It's unreal.
What's going on I-10 today?
Oh, I don't know. Probably normal traffic flows. I think I might walk to New Orleans or something. You know?
Were you in New Orleans, Clay?
I was not out.
Okay.
So of my couch.
No, so I drove back. So after the game, worked, was up late, and then came back this morning, and it took me 2 hours to get from New Orleans to the Highland Road exit.
I talked to my buddy.
There were so many people leaving New Orleans today that the congestion was incredible. It was almost like the entire city of Baton Rouge stayed last night and had the same idea. We'll just get up around 8 or 9 o'clock and drive back. And you should have gotten up at 6 or waited till about noon, one way or the other.
Hey, was it as wild as it looked on TV? Because, I mean, it just looked like an electric atmosphere. And just looking at the crowd, it looked like Clemson had a better showing than I thought they would.
So the breakdown, so I think it was about right. Remember, each school got an allotment of 20,000. So the dome seats, I don't know what they listed the attendance at for yesterday, because I know how they configure the dome determines the attendance, but it's usually in that 68 to 72,000 range. Can you see, Musso? See if you can give me the attendance from last night's game. I don't. No, here it is. Oh, I'm sorry. It was 76. So 76,885 was the attendance last night. So Clemson got their 20,000, and then I would guess they probably got about another 10,000 on the secondary market. So you probably had about 30,000 Clemson fans, which means you probably had 46, upwards of 40, 45, 50,000 LSU fans there. 65-35 is probably a good split. It really depended on the vantage point. You could tell Clemson seats that they had in the lower level that from their allotment, and then in the upper level from their allotment. But everything else, LSU's allotment in the upper, the lower, but the sidelines and especially the lows, the middle section of the dome, that was all LSU. And I don't know that showed on TV, but I posted a video pregame standing on the field doing the 360, and you could tell there was a lot of Clemson, but boy, it was when you see the whole 360 of the dome, it was overwhelmingly LSU.
That's great to hear. Hey, look, this is a day of celebration, so I want it to be one of the first callers to get this out of the way. It's inevitable anyway, so let me just bring it up, see if you have any thoughts or any worries about the whole Odell Beckham situation, handing out lots of cash. Again, I don't want to bring a damper. Let's get it out the way now. If you have any thoughts, I'd like to hang up and listen.
All right, Clay. Thanks, man. I need to pull up my Instagram because so if you don't know what he's referring to, Paul, can you find that video for me? I know you can't take my but I'm sure people are going to want to see it today. If you're not familiar, there's a point post game on the field, and there were an overwhelming number of former players. And I'll rattle through as many of them as I can remember. But I was standing right behind. And now I'm looking at this picture I have. And I'm trying to see if Justin Jefferson's doing an interview with CNN. And Odell goes up to him, and he pulls out a wad of cash. I mean, a big old thick wad of cash, and he rips off like 5 or 6 bills and just slaps them in Justin Jefferson's hand. I looked at it and thought they had a bet, like some type of wager. Could you make if you win the Natty, I'll give you whatever sort of thing. I also believe Justin Jefferson's going pro, so it don't matter if Odell Beckham gave him money. So if you're watching, there's my picture. So I was standing right there as this transpired, but I did not see Beckham do the whole money exchange thing. Everyone's seen the video of it now. I do not anticipate there will be any ramifications. Even if Jefferson wanted to return to school, if there was anything nefarious, let's give the money back and it's done. It's no big deal. So, no, I don't think there's anything to it. It was probably Odell and Justin having fun. Guys that have known each other for a long time. I just kind of shrug my shoulders. I think people that are in the gotcha sort of I did one interview today in Atlanta, and the host asked me about it, and he was trying to basically peg Odell as being selfish and trying to steal the moment. I'm like, I don't really care. Whatever. So, no, I don't have many thoughts on it. All right, Chris is in Pensacola. What's up, Chris?
Hey, what's up, Matt? I'm going to try and hold it together real quick because
Okay.
I got try to hold my emotions in because this is special for me, man. I'm not an LSU alumni. I was born and raised in Gainesville, Louisiana. I left in 1997 to join the military. First of all, I want to say thank you for everything y'all gave us to help those of us who aren't in Baton Rouge
You got it,
or
man.
in the Louisiana area to be a part of this. It's really special. So thank you. As hard as you can be to listen to sometimes, I still appreciate your work and appreciate what you do.
That's the most backhanded compliment ever.
Thank
you, Chris.
I meant it genuinely. There's stuff that I disagree with you on, but
I genuinely mean it. It's hard to listen to you, but thanks.
But so
You're not helping,
Chris. Love you, man. Love you. The first caller kind of beat my little what I really wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about that defense. That defense was nasty. The offense took a little while to figure it out. I mean, they started with terrible field position the first couple of drives, and they held them. They held them to within striking distance. And once the offense figured it out, they started clicking. And in the second half, the defense just put their boot on that throat and shut them down.
Clemson was held to 8 points in the second half.
Yes.
Just the one touchdown. Trevor Lawrence under 50% completion for the game, and he threw for under 50 yards in the second half. It's an astonishing accomplishment for that defense, considering the skill on the other side. You're almost bound to at some point miss a tackle or they scheme somebody open and you have a catch and run for 20 yards. It just didn't happen in the second half.
Yep, you're right. And I want to finish my call with a big old go Tigers.
There you go, man. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Chris is listening in Pensacola. He says it's very hard to listen to me, but he appreciates us being here. Attaboy, Chris.
He said he loved you too, though, so it's fine.
Stay hot, dude. I love you too, Chris. Lots of love here today. It's after but you know what's funny? It's like that's the kind of call where for a month, right? I've done when like we have guys on our show and ladies that cover the SEC and other teams and all that come on. So it's reciprocal, right? So I go on a lot of shows. People will ask, all of us are, a lot of our staff does that to go on other shows, and it's so funny because certainly over the last 2 months or so, really since the Bama game, I sound like the biggest homer in the world because I keep picking LSU to win and to score 40 on everybody, and all these people are aghast, and they just can't. They think it's just this LSU homer guy. I'm like, if only you knew there are so many Chris's out there who just think that I'm a hater and I'm hard to listen to. Oh man, they were just that good, man. There was no disagreement. All right, it's after further review. Tuesday shows are brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. The guys are over there at the office, 293-0450, 293-0450. Give them a call. Better coverage for less money. While we talk and play and celebrate, let them do the work. Let them go shop independently, see if they can get you better coverage for less money at Insurance Network of Louisiana. All right, you can tweet us. You can jump at the Bayou Ford Huddle. You can email me, Matt at 1045ESPN.com.
So happy for our team. This is about our team. This is about our coaching staff, about everybody wanting the program to go in a great state of Louisiana. I'm just so happy for everybody.
Ed Ogeron last night on the field as confetti fell. Tigers are national champions for the fourth time in the program's history. What a win. Not only is that the fourth championship for LSU, it is certainly, I think, inarguably the greatest team LSU has ever had. And we are talking about arguably the greatest team in the history of college football. that's where we began today. But, of course, there was a game as well. And, man, I really think that for LSU, I can't say that I thought there was ever a time where I was concerned that LSU might lose. But certainly you've got to think that the consecutive scoring drives before half for LSU is when the game flipped. And you could feel the pendulum swinging when Burrow hit Jamar Chase for the touchdown to go ahead 21-17. That was the drive where they were going boom, boom, boom. The defender from Clemson flopped to essentially give them a timeout, and then they went man coverage on Chase, and then just Burrow dropped it in a bucket. What a gorgeous touchdown pass that was. Tigers get a punt on the ensuing possession. They get the ball back with a little more than 3 minutes to go before half, and, man, they were bailed out. 3rd and 19, flag for pass interference, gives LSU a new set of downs. And then the play really of the game, I think. If you go back and you find like the singular moment in the game, it was probably the draw with 21 seconds to go. It's 3rd and 10. You don't have a timeout. You run a draw. If Burrow is tackled in bounds and doesn't get the first down, that's half. And Clemson feels like that's a big win right there. But they run the draw. It's 1st and goal. Touchdown to Thad Moss, who was completely uncovered on the play. And LSU's up 28-17 at half with the ball to start the second half and a chance to build that lead. Now, Clemson forced a 3-and-out and got a score and made it a 3-point game, but that was the last they would score and as close as they would get. So everything Clemson threw at them, LSU had an answer, and they were unrelenting as they were all season. What an amazing, remarkable accomplishment. All right, let's go back to the phones. Tricia is in Baton Rouge. Hi, Tricia.
Hey, Matt. How are you?
Tricia, if I was doing any better, I wish I could think of something creative, but I'm way too tired.
I don't blame you. Okay, I'm going to say this. I am such an LSU fan, have been since I was a little kid. And when I went to go get autographs from, and this is going to tell my age, from Burt Jones and Tommy Casanova and Ronnie Estee and all those older folks. But I was nervous.
Why were you nervous?
I don't know. I don't know, but I was. I said, I guess it's because it was such a great thing. And if they would have lost last night, it would have been not so great. And it would have been over. But then exactly what you were talking about at the end of the first half, when they scored that touchdown, I was calm, and that was it. I was good to go. They had won in my mind at that point. That was it. And then I thought about it later. I said, well, where do winning streaks come to die? At LSU. We beat USF. With their big, long winning streak, we should have been in the, playoffs. We beat Alabama after 8 years of not beating them. And then we come and we beat Clemson after their 29 straight games. And I should never have been nervous at all.
So I'm trying to tell you, Tricia.
there was never have been nervous at all.
This team was, Tricia, I appreciate the call. Thank you for sharing those sentiments. Part of me kind of understands why the rest of the country, if they're looking at LSU fans or this team, think it's cockiness or conceit or arrogance or whatever you want to say. But like the reality is, we watched a team, and by the way, and I'm quick to point this out as well. I don't know when you want to start talking about sustainability, how LSU will fare. That's another conversation we'll have another day. But the part of that question is, how do they look without Joe Burrow? It's not going to be what it was this year, and that's obvious. Alabama and Clemson have sustained it amid turnover at the most important position on the field. That's something LSU is going to have to prove they'll do, and they'll get there again. We had lots of time to talk about that, but but that notwithstanding, this LSU team was an offensive pros going against college defenses. It's the bottom line. I mean, Joe Burrow is a Sunday player. He threw a pass yesterday, and Hannegriff was sitting next to me in the press box, and it was in the third quarter. And it was LSU was going, as we were looking at it, left to right. I don't know how it looked on TV quite. No, it would have been, yeah. So it would have been left to right. And Burrow makes a pass to the left sideline in front of the LSU bench. It was a 7-yard out to Thad Moss, and it was well covered. And Burrow put it high on Moss's front shoulder, where he caught it in bounds, and it was beyond the outstretched reach of the defender. And I looked at Hannegriff. I said, "That's a Sunday throw. That's the kind of play that in this game no one's going to remember. It's a 7-yard out route to Thad Moss." But when an NFL scout sees that, they're going to see the vision, the trust, and the accuracy to throw that ball in a tight window and to make that throw and deliver it accurately and strongly. And that's the kind of thing that set Burrow apart this year. And when you have that guy making Sunday throws to Chase and Jefferson and Marshall and Moss and then Clyde, it's like, let's pick your poison. Okay, you want to take away the Blitnikoff Award winner? Okay, the other guy who's going to be a first-round pick is going to go off for 14 catches, 200 yards, and 4 touchdowns in a semifinal game. Okay, you want to play man coverage on the Blitnikoff Award winner? How many catches did he have last night? 9 for Jamar Chase. 9 catches, 221 yards. Dude, that's so stupid. It's so it's like high school. It's like when kids that you know are going to be D1 signees are playing in high school. And it's just unfair. The little, 640-pound linebacker can't tackle that guy. That's what LSU's offense has been like this year. And that, Tricia, is why you should not have worried at all throughout the game. Val is in Prairieville. What's up, Val?
No, it's Al. What's
hey,
up,
Al.
Matt?
How are you, man?
Matt, I got 2 words for you.
Okay.
Go Tigers.
I figured that was going to be the 2 words.
Matt, was RC partying down in New Orleans? I didn't see him on the news much.
I saw him post game, down on the field, but I know he had media this morning as well. He had to do get up and first take, so I know he had work obligations. So I don't know that he made it a late night, but I did see him on the field after the game. Yeah.
Only guy I know who's tireder than you is Marcus Spears. He was rough this morning, man. I don't know if Spears went to bed last night, man.
He might not have, man. I'm gonna tell you, by the time all the media ended, the post-game press conference and everything, I don't think I left the Dome till about 1:00. And so for those guys, if you have a 5 a.m. call or 4 a.m. wake-up call to be on at 5 for some of those those East Coast shows, 6 Eastern, 5. So remember, it's 6 Eastern, so it's 5 Central.
Right.
I mean, they might have you get back to your room at 2, and you're waking up at 4. I mean, do you sleep for an hour or 2?
I wouldn't.
I mean, you got to think that's probably what a lot of those guys did. They stayed up.
Yeah, it's probably worse to sleep for the hour and a half than it is to stay up.
Yeah, I slept for about 3 hours. It was probably not a good thing to do.
Yeah, you'll sleep good tonight. Don't worry.
Yeah, I will.
I was going to tell you, I was like you, and my calming effect probably didn't happen till around the SEC championship. But from Georgia to Oklahoma to this one, I had a lot of people. My son's in graduate school over in Georgia, and he kept calling, on pins and needles when we fell behind. And I kept telling him, just calm down. We had some bad field position. We're going to get better field position, and Joe's going to be able to figure out what they're doing, and that's exactly what happened. But I love you because you're opinionated just like I am. So I was going to ask you on these 2 and then, see what you think.
Mm-hmm.
There is no doubt of the 2 quarterbacks out there, Burrow was head and shoulders the better quarterback.
Agreed.
Yes or no?
That's not even – I mean, that's like saying is 100 pounds heavier than 50. I mean, it's a fact. Burrow was better yesterday. There's no question.
Well, and this is one one I think you'll disagree with. But
Okay.
watching this Clemson team, if they played in the SEC, they could have as many as 1 or 2 losses. Playing the type of schedule LSU plays against your Auburns, Floridas, Georgias, Bama's.
I think Clemson was Florida with a better quarterback. That's what I think they were. I think they have pros at the skill positions. I think they had some real talented defenders. I just think they have while Florida had Felipe Franks and Kyle Trask, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be the first pick in the draft next year. So I think they were Florida with a better quarterback. And Florida went 10-2 this year, lost to LSU in a neutral site game to Georgia. I think Clemson could probably beat Georgia at a neutral site. So I think maybe they trip up depending on the schedule against LSU if they ran into Bama. I think that would have been a really competitive game this year. But yeah, I mean Clemson's a really good team, man. LSU's better than everybody. They were like this year, and it's not even like you're arrogant saying that. We know it. They're 15-0. They beat 5 of the top final 8. I mean, they were better than everybody this year.
Yeah,
so.
and we're soaking it up too.
Yeah,
it's like I told Musso. I said it's the only time I know in Louisiana, especially Baton Rouge, guys can be on 3 hours of sleep and be in a great mood.
Hey, man, the whole state is on 3 hours sleep. Al, I appreciate it, man.